Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab, pissed off with you people, but there's another lesson, another issue. It's personal, but out here, where I do what I do for you. I'm doing what I do for you to enlighten you for what's going on right now in the world. So I'm right on point. Hope I can get this message across. Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. Excuse me. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's continue doing what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinkers Way of Life, through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask you, do you know you? When I'm done, you will. A person who knows not, excuse me, it's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. A person who knows not, and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. That's what I do for you. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat, be true. Ooh, I got some good stuff. In the light of what's going on, this is what I call Black history. Because this is ours. See that guy right there? That's Khufu. He was the builder of the Great Pyramid. Down here, you see a picture of a white man wanting to look like us. Just want to give you a quick heads up. And I got more pictures of all our ancient pharaohs, okay, through the ages. Okay. You might not got this knowledge in school. They ain't gonna give it to you. So right now, right thing, excuse me, let's talk about a historical overview of Kemet, aka ancient Egypt. I'm gonna take you through the list chronologically and philosophically. I'm gonna break all this stuff down that I learned over 30 years ago, and it's still prevalent to this day. So I'm gonna try to hope you can get interested and understand what I'm trying to do for you. Let's go. Remember, like Malcolm say, I'm gonna enlighten my people by any means necessary, and this is necessary. So let's talk about it. No one knows for certain when civilization of Kemet first began. Let's start with that. So, see where we're going with this? Through oral records, meaning folklore, spoken. Records indicate that considerably amount of activities was taking place as early as, you ready? 20,000 BCE. Now, I tell you, my yacht philosophy starts at 10,000, and I'm being modest and generous. Why? Because, again, nobody knows. So they just grab a number. And I know for a fact, through, Asia counting stuff, whatever they do with the rocks, the Sphinx is over 10,000 years old. And if it took you that much knowledge to build it, how long have you existed before you built the monument? So, again, understand that. So we giving them, they saying 20,000. But according to Sir Gaston Maspero, in his publication, The Dawn of Civilization, says what? The Egyptians made their first appearance on the stage of history, according to him, about 8 to 10,000 years ago. I just told you. And this is his guesstimation. We say 20 from experience, and again, folklore, having it being told to us without being written down, without being documented. So we go back 20,000. He can go as far as 10. Okay, again, so we're dealing with speculation and all kinds of stuff. So let's get to the lesson. I'm trying to break it down for you as we go. This book was written back in 92. A long time ago. But it's still our history. I got a book from my other Egyptian. I got the same information in another book. So this is all the same stuff. Moving on. I got a bunch of books and they all tell me the same thing. Information about our Egyptians. All right. It's generally, watch this, it's generally agreed that a number of pre-dynastic kingdoms, aka one named by Ta-Seti, and others, I just gave you another one, what's that, Costal, existed hundreds of years, before the consolidation of power, meaning Upper and Lower Egypt come into existence as one. But before that, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on, which led to the, unification of the country that is now geographically referred to as Egypt, Nubia, Sudan, Kush, all those are surrounding areas, okay? And the term dynasty refers to a family or a period of rulership during a specific era. I'm going to take you chronologically from 4236 BCE to 1981. Get your popcorn, get comfortable, and hope you enjoy the ride. I got some good stuff I'm going to bring to you right now. So, watch this. Where we at? Okay. The practice of dividing the many kingdoms of Kemet into what they call dynastic periods was the first established, you ready? By Greco-Egyptian priest by the name of Manetho. And during the 3rd century BCE, Manetho was commissioned by the white man Ptolemy Philadelphus. By the 3rd century BCE, he told him to write the definitive history of the country, which he subsequently chronicled in a book that's entitled History of Egypt. My dude, Ivan Van Sertima, shot that nonsense to crap, okay, with Egypt revisited, okay? He went back and told the truth. This guy here, again, moving on. But regrettably, watch this, much of this history that he professed was lost when before him, what happened? The much of history that before him was lost when When the library of Alexandria was destroyed by who? The Ptolemies, who started writing the history from that point on, who didn't know nothing else, so they just made up as they went. Whatever they confirmed from us. Sorry about that. Get back to less. I'll get annoyed because I'm knowing their history. Watch this. But this is what they did. And the remaining fragments of Manetho's chronology provides us with some clues, okay, some, as to the name of the earliest rulers because they kept track of it. They documented every damn thing. Excuse me. So from 42 BCE, they kept documents, okay. But what happened before that? They claimed the Sumerians, the Mesopotamians, 6,000 years. No. Egypt go back past 10. We just took it to 20, and they just not going to accept that. They just not going to accept that. So moving on, and that's been proven. Watch this. And there is general disagreement amongst modern Egyptologists and other supposedly historians regarding the exact dates of the dynastic periods. One say this, one say that. Moving on. So historians have recorded the establishment of so-called first dynasty, when as early as the 5th millennium. So that's going back to 5,000 BCE, right? They just said that. Why are we only taking information from 42? That's still 700 years that you got no say-so about nothing. Really? Where that information go? I'm just saying, remember, I do this. So I'm getting my anger off, my rant off at the same time, showing you how this been going off. So I'm bringing you right up to date. I'm taking you back to the beginning and going to walk you all through this. And if you're paying attention, you might learn something. What did it say? Message. And from the 5th millennium BCE, they just said that, right? We have no information from 5000 BCE about nothing, according to them. But we do, according to us. So understand that. And others documents what? It as beginning in the 3rd millennium. Again, they didn't even do the 4. They went from 5 to 3. So what happened to all that 1800 years of information? They don't want to, they just put that aside. But they started with the 3rd millennium. You know what happened in the 3rd millennium? At 32, they come up with 32 BCE. Know what happens? That's the dynasty. That's like the first and second. The pre-dynastic period is the 42. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I got the breakdown. I'm gonna take you to that. So I'm a little anxious. I want to get to the. See, this to me is fluff. It's getting you, setting you up, walking you to where we gotta go. So let me just walk you to it. Let me get there. Now, while most historians have adopted the conservative, they didn't know. They adopted a conservative date of what? 3150. I just showed you. And what happens there? They call it the Old Kingdom. Okay, from 3150 to 26 BCE. King Norma, Menace, unifies Upper and Lower Kemet and established Memphis as the state capital. Listen to that. We're going to go back. My map, we're here right now at 31 BCE. You know what happened at 31 BCE? Some same Greeks that we educated at 5000 BCE, 4000 BCE, at 3000 BCE, they come to take us over and enslave us. But they were so nice and gracious, they let us practice our said religion or philosophy that would govern us. We call it religion, In 31 BCE, that's when that took over. So all the information we're going to get now from 31 BCE is going to be from them. Just want to let you know. So let's go. 31 BCE at the beginning of the first dynasty. Really? Okay. New data, again, is continuing to surface and what? Which tends to that tends to support what? Earlier dates for the establishment of the first dynasty of Kemet. Moving on. See how this game is played? It's been that way for a while. Even though the early history of Kemet remains what? Shrouded in mystery. Just like Jesus Christ shrouded to me. It gets a little gray. You got black and you got white. This is that. That's that. When you get gray, meaning black done slid over to white or white done slid into black and it changed the color to gray. I don't do gray. So, what's this? A mystery. And there is general agreement. So they all got together and agreed upon what? The division of Kemet into, we call it 30 dynasties. So I got 30 set dynasties that, again, according to them, periods, which lasted until, you ready? The Greek conquest in 332 BCE. You heard that? The Greeks conquered the Egyptians in 332 BCE. They say that. I just told you in 3150 BCE, they pretty much was dictating, from behind the scenes. Just letting your heads up. And now, this is the caveat. The Greco-Roman rulership of Egypt extended from what? 332 BCE to when? You ready? 395 ACE. So that means they ended out the 332 years of BCE, came over to ACE, and went for another almost 400 years. After which, now what happened? All traces of the Egyptian culture were now suppressed. Why? You may ask. The dynasties of Kemet have been divided into 4 kingdoms. According to them, 4 kingdoms of stable rulership and 3 intermediate periods that were either racked with what? Internal disorder, okay, or periods of what? Foreign occupation and corruption. We didn't do it to ourselves. We didn't self-implode. No, we didn't self-destruct. No. Understand that. All historical dates that prior to the 26th dynasty, meaning 25 dynasty before this, are approximates and vary considerably from source to source. Why? It's going to be different depending who telling. That's why. Because everybody just, just no empirical, no proof, no facts. We do have them. They just picking and choosing what they want to use, okay, to substantiate their ultimate goal, which is happening right today. I'm going to show you. The following timeline is a very conservative and greatly what? Abbreviated chronology of our ancient Kemet, aka Egyptian history. Now, we're getting over here. It took me a while to get here, but I had to go through the fluff. These are the breakdown of the dynasties. These are some of the pharaohs. I'm going to go through them. The first being Menes, Norma. Then you got Doja. Then you got my man down here, Menhotep. Okay. Then you got, he was the one. What's his name? Okay. What's that? Sensuar? Set? He went to Greece, established Egyptian rule. No heads up. Okay, he flipped on it. Yeah, I love that. I'm looking at the clock. This is going to be a 2-part. I see we got a few pages of information, so I'm not going to rush it, but I'm going to take it now. Let's deal with the pre-dynastic Kemet. Dates 4232 to 3150 BCE. This is our information from 4236, and it becomes our distorted information from 3150 on down. Watch this. Kemetic people, we had a 1460-year-old astronomical calendar. We've seen the zodiac. Each zodiac sign lasts 2150 years. We're back around in Aquarius. We just left Pisces. And they know that. They've known that for a while. Again, a long time doing what they do. That's the 46. At 4236, we had that information. Without them, we had already done that information. At 3800 BCE, the emergence of what? Early Nubian civilization. That's our big brothers. They just backed us. Okay, and you'll find out later on what I mean by that. I just did a lesson about the Nubians. We hear about the Egyptians. We don't hear about the Cushites. We don't hear about the Ethiopians. We don't hear about nobody but just Eli. No, it wasn't just Egypt. We didn't even have a damn army. Okay? Nubians, Cushites did our fighting. Why? We ain't that kind of people. You got a nerd. You get the bully. People gonna pick on the nerd, but long the bully back him up, that keep them up off him. That was the concept back then. How about that? And everybody outside of Egypt was what? The bullies, other than Cush and Nubia and Sudan, our neighbors. Okay, they love to fight. They had a movie with Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. He was rich, he's been successful in life, but he dropped out of high school, didn't go to college, whatever. So he went back to college and gonna get a degree. You rich, you got everything you need. You don't need it, but he did it. And they went to a party one night, college campus. They going out. And again, the bully, the quarterback of the football team, while the bully walk around, blah. So my man said, hey, you want to fight? My man said, nah, I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. He's the fighter. And when my man got up, he didn't talk, he just started wailing. That's what fighters do. When you called the boat people, they came, they called them the boat. Why? Arrows flying everywhere. When my man 300, when he said we were gonna shoot so many arrows, gonna block out the sun, that means we're fighting the shade. But yeah, that's what they were talking about, the bow people. Okay, and every now and then they slip in some truth with a bunch of nonsense. And again, the story goes, when I had to do my dog, if I call Wood, he coming to do one thing, not negotiate. Nope, that's the trigger man. He's the dude, your big brother. I called him one time, false alarm, never forget, too funny. My niece had got into some stuff. So I'm on the way over. My brother called me. Okay, I don't know for nothing. I just called Wood and put him on, put him on alert. He hauls ass over there. He get there, we find out, now he got to drive back across town. No license. He in his car, got his stuff. He's a big brother. Man, you got me out here now. I got to try to get back home and get through the... Dude, you came over here that way. But he said, listen, if you don't need me, don't call me. Meaning, ain't going to be no shooting. Don't waste my time. But that's what... When people do that, that's what they do. They don't talk about it. They be about it. My man Ron. But in 3800, the emergence of Nubian civilization let it be known that they ain't the one to mess with. Okay, so he kept off our back. 3400, Nubian kingdom, a.k.a. Tasseti, is part of what we're doing. We share the same philosophical concepts, the same God, so we're on the same page. Okay, now we get into 3150. What happened at 3150? From 3150 to 2649 BCE, considered the Old Kingdom, King Norma Menes unifies Upper and Lower Egypt. When it goes, it's upper here and lower that way, all right? But establishes what they call Memphis, which is the state capital. So they had organized civilization going on way back then. Now, dynasties 1 and 2, okay. Now we're going to go to 3 and 4, from 2649 to 2150 BCE. And you notice the time is going this way, and it's decreasing from 10, 9, 8. You see that? That's before the Christian era. ACE is after the Christian era. But you see time is going back. Why is that? Nobody asked the question. Why? That's the real sand in the hourglass. The days of our life is running out. It ain't going up. Just a little tidbit, again, philosophical point of view. But they counted time backwards, okay? Like it's supposed to be. Okay, but they look at it, as you're born into the world, you get older. Okay, that's time in reverse. They just flipped it. Okay, conceptually. But now from 3150 BCE, they had good going. At 26 BCE, what happened? The Old Kingdom, which now is in the 3rd and 4th dynastic period or family running, they started what? The Pyramid Ages. My stuff, okay? And this guy here, right there, Khufu, he's the great builder. But this man right here. This is Menes. He started the thing off, and this is Doja. He's the pyramid builder. Watch this. They get his information right quick. Now, from 3 to 6, destination from 26 to 21, about 500 years. Okay, you got Zoja. He builds that pyramid, the first pyramid in Saqqara. Okay, the complex. That's the first like Cape type stuff. He was the originator of that. In 2575, all the great pyramids at the Shah and the Giza Plateau was being built. The Great Sun Pyramid and the mortuary complexes was built in 2465. In 2323, you got the pyramid text that is inscribed in the tomb of King Yunus. I gave that lesson a while back. But now, this is all our information. This is all our stuff, okay? The first intermediate period, 2150 to 2040 BCE, still us. Kemet experiences what? Widespread political upheaval. We practice Mayat, and the judicial system was ran by Mayat until what? We getting there. I'm trying to walk you through this. This is going to be a part 2. I see that already. But right there, now the pyramid text describes the pyramid King Tunis. Now the first intermediate period started when? At 2150. What happened? Kemet started getting a little skeptical. And now dynasties 11 and 12 at the period 2040 to 17. Another 200-300 year period when what? They call this the Middle Kingdom. Why? Literature age. That's when writing was prevalent, okay? Menhotep II, he unifies Kemet again and relocates the capital from Memphis to Waset, Thebes, and Luxor. They got a temple, Luxor, Karnak, the biggest temple in the world. Your boy Ramses II, he built off his father, Seti I. But yeah, they had the biggest temple ever. Watch this. Now, this was us. It's still just us. All our achievements, all the architectural achievements is being done without them. It's still just us. It's all black. No race problem, no questions here. All right. Now, in 20, you got Menhotep. He unifies Kemet, relocates the West. Okay, moved it. Now we got a big swing of what? Art, literature, religious concepts, all flourishing during this era as what? Prosperity and stability was restored to the land. They went back to practicing Mayap and got back on track. Okay, that's the 2040. Now, at 1897, your boy, Senwosret, established what? A colony in Greece and founded the city of Athens. That was named after an Egyptian. Did y'all know that? The city of Athens came from my man here. It came from Egypt. In 1897, construction of the Great Kemetic Labyrinth by Amenhotep was done back there also. This was the dynasties from 11 and 12. Still us. Now we coming down. Now we down to the 1783, down to 1550 BCE. What's going on now? The first invasion from the Asians, Kemet by what they call the Hyksos. Okay, the red people, the brown skinned people, the Indians. Okay, the Assyrians. Okay, rulers of foreign lands. They done came in. Now the invasion begins. Period of widespread destruction. Now we starting to have issues. Okay, that's at 1783. Now at excuse me, at 15 to 1170 BCE, we got New Kingdom established and an imperial. They call it the Imperial Age. What happens? King Amos, he now fights off the Hyksos. Okay, he came up from the south, helped us out. Your boy, the Bo people, and my boy the Cushites. They ran out the Hyksos, and now he reunites Kemet. Thutmose the First expanded the imperial rulership from the upper Nile to the upper Euphrates River, the Persia, which were Persia and Iraq. We done conquered all of that. Here come the Persians, all right? Excuse me, 1500 BCE. Now, 50 years later, at 1473, 20-something years later, my girl, young people, females, never mind hers, I didn't understand it, but black female, look at Queen Hatshepsut. She's the first female pharaoh. She did the man's job for 20-something years and did it better than any man ever or since. How about that? Okay, a great female ruler. Hatshepsut rules Kemet as the first female pharaoh and did for 20 years. Okay, expanded, grew, and her temple's still the best temple standing right now to this day. Okay, she's a bad girl. That's my point. Female. Much respect. Amenhotep III, he comes in around 1391. So she was in control for about 20, 30 years. Then her son took over. Okay, but now we get down to 1391. Amenhotep III rules Kemet at what? The height of his military power. We had to get some power. And that's what he did. Okay, he put together some fight so that what? We gonna let people come in and take us over like the Wild Wild West. My man said we got tired of people coming to our spot and blowing up. So now the people used to do that. Now they respect and idolize us. Why? Put your foot in their butt. Okay, fight back. The reason why the Romans got everything. Why? They knew one thing. They wasn't smart. They wasn't spiritual. They wasn't religious. They was fighters. They knew how to fight. So they took it by force. They still got it. Moving on. Queen Tai. She ruled by his side. She's the famous queen. Okay. And now in 1353, 40 years later, somewhat, Amenhotep IV. We know him as Akhenaten. Okay. The heretic pharaoh. Why? He changed all the gods to one god, Atum, which is the sun disk. He introduces the concept of Atum, well, I'm good at this thing, as the sole god to be worshipped in Kemet. They hate him for it. He removed the capital to Omana out in the middle of nowhere, and he wasted all the money, effort on what? Building up these big elaborate temples, worshiping Atum, and the priests and the people hated him for it. When he died, they smashed all his stuff and went back to what? Matter of fact, the reason why all the statues with the face before then, He the one sent his priests out to what? Deface all the noses. Why? Because they knew the concept was if the statue is defaced, the spirit can't come back to it. So that's why you got a broken nose off the statue. Napoleon, I'm gonna do that lesson, but I just let it go. Who shot the nose off the Sphinx? Wasn't Napoleon. We was doing it. Akhenaten, the heretic pharaoh who had his people do just that. Okay, all over Egypt. So it wasn't just one place, all over. You see noses off everybody. Okay, moving on. A quick lesson. Now you got where we at. Amenhotep the fourth, Akhenaten. Now he was worshipped in Kemet. His queen Nefertiti, the prettiest girl, supposed to be by his side. Okay, that's when you see the woman and the man. That's him and his daughters. He had all daughters. He had no sons. They say he was the weird one. Bunch of, if you're making babies, how weird can you be if you're making babies? They just don't come out boys. She had a more dominant gene than his sperm just wasn't strong enough to make boys. That's all. Nothing other than that. Now we get to, everybody know this one, 1333. We coming down. Now, Tutankhamun ascends to the throne at the age of 9. He ruled for about 10 years, and he ended up dying. Why? He was young, he out doing a bunch of nonsense. But it was all more propaganda. Okay? Now, at 1306, Seti the first, which is the father of who? Ramses II, who builds what? Magnificent tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Karnak. Okay, he was the master builder. When he was in charge, he had no problem for nobody. Nobody invaded him. Nobody messed with him. He had carte blanche, and he just built and built and built. And Ramses II, a.k.a. the Great, when he got in charge and ruled at 1290, okay, he ruled Kemet for 67 years. Y'all talking about 4 years of presidency, man, they didn't give a damn about that. They had rulership. And he did more than any pharaoh before or since. Why? Watch this. During his time, he had one big war. He didn't win it, but he let it be known that we ain't the ones to mess with. Okay, no, we ain't taking no short. So that stopped everybody from coming attempting to mess with him. Like when America got to fight off either Russia or China, you better handle your business. But if they come together, that could be a problem. Moving on. That's the concept. Back then, he had nobody to oppose him but one group of people. Once he fought up to a standstill, they went their way. Like I said, if you and I got a beef, we can do it one of two ways. Get it on, or you stay over there and I stay over here. Simple. Moving on. It ain't changed. But in Ramses II, the Great, ruled for 67 years. Now, Nefertiti, the Nubian queen who he married, and remember, they would go to other tribes and marry the king's daughter to unite them as family. That was traditional. And she was his what? Chief wife. During this period, Kemet experienced erroneous prosperity. It was just a boom. They're just booming. And had a phenomenal resurgence in temple construction, building, and literature being passed out, art and science. It was flourishing. Everything was going good. The Egyptians are the only known people on record to have lived in peace and harmony for over 3,000 years. No other civilization can say that. That's why I deal with them. Why? The proof's in the pudding. Simple. And it's working for me. Moving on. Dynasties 21 to 24, which now entered the third intermediate, which is at now 1050. Now we're getting out single digits to 750 BCE. Now it's a fast deterioration of political authorities, meaning you got corruption running wild, and in a general period of social and political religious decline. Sound like what's going on right now, don't it? Pretty much, but it don't change. It's pretty much the same thing. Okay, understand that. And when you do that, you find your place in this place. Why? Do you carve out your niche and just do you? Why? That's all you can do. Everything else gonna take care of itself, with you or without you. It ain't gonna change because you ain't in it. When I learned that part about life, I could care less what's going on. Don't follow sports. Don't care nothing. Why? I'm doing me. Dynasty 25, we getting close to the end, all right? But 750 BCE to 675, okay, what happened? This the late kingdom. It's about to fall apart. Now you got a king Pianki, a Nubian king, okay? He had to come in, okay? And what happened? He conquered Lower Egypt, Kemet, and he reestablished what? Central authority, Mayat, where? In Kush. And in 750, he did that for about 30 years. And in 712, you got Shabaka stone, which reunifies what? All of Kemet and rules from what? Waset, Thebes, Luxor again. Everybody who are Christian would know this guy. Y'all heard about Taharka, King Taharka? He the one that helped, supposedly, the Christians when all hell broke loose. They ran to him and he got them off your backs. Remember him? Okay. My master teacher tell you about him. But he unifies, again, all of Kemet, and he ruled from Waset, Thebes, Karnak. Taharka leads what? A military invasion. Where? Into Spain, Palestine. Okay. And after that, for next 27 years, he was cool. But then in 667, the Syrians came and conquered. First, they took Lower Egypt. And in 3 more years, 664, they took Upper Egypt. So now, what happened? The Assyrians conquered Upper Kemet. Now they got it both. Nubian kings had to reestablish what? The central government, where? In Upper Kemet until what? They had conquered the Lower Kemet, who had took over by the Syrian forces. They were fighting to take back their land. Black people, we need to start fighting, taking back our rights to be what? Considered a human being. How about that, starters? Now, you got what? The 27th dynasty. Here is the problem. Right here. You got 525 to 404 BCE, the first Persian invasion. Here they come. Kemet was invaded by Cambyses. He's the king that became part of what? The Persian Empire capital, and he moved it to where? Babylon. That's where they come in at. Okay. They even came in and bit off of us. I had this study with my man Cabasis. Okay, he's the bad dude. Okay, not a good dude, but in the bad way. But now we're looking at dynasty. He was there from 27th dynasty, 28th dynasty. We're getting closer to when the Greeks come in. Kemet invaded by Kemet. Okay, at 28th dynasty. At 404 to 399. For 5 years, the Persians were expelled from Kemet. Capital is moved now to Sais, S-A-I-S. That's the Western Delta in Egypt. That's where supposed to be the body of Asar was buried. Okay, Abydos, the lower parts of Egypt, what they call it Upper Egypt. But now, watch this. We hitting Dynasty 30. That's when party's over for us. Why? Watch this. The second Persian invasion came in, Dynasty 30 lasted from 380 to 343. That's the last period of rulership by a native-born Kemetic king on African soil. In 343 BCE. And now we got the second invasion from 342 to 332. Remember that number. 332 is the end of the Egyptian running Egypt. You got okay, here we go. First I got Amenhotep III. That's the guy up top. Okay. Vicious pharaoh. He the one built the military fight. Then you got Ramses II. He looked more like a Chinaman, don't he? But he was the one great, Ramses II. Okay, 67 years in rule, a bunch of sons that he outlived everybody. Then you got Taharka. Christians should be familiar with him. He's a young pharaoh that kept people off y'all backs when y'all had the problem. Then you got, there we go, Alexander Numbnuts. Okay, nothing great about that man. He changed the face of Egypt forever, right? Then you got, now this is the real picture of Cleopatra. This ain't the Elizabeth Taylor picture. This is the real queen. And you can see she ain't black. She's a Ptolemy. She's great. Simple. Stop. I don't care about what I don't care what they say. Simple right there. And she wasn't beautiful. Moving on. Smart, could be, yeah. But beautiful, no. If you gotta wrap yourself up in the rug and present yourself naked, you must not look too good. Moving on. Just the idea I came up with that concept. They said she wrapped herself in the rug, presented herself as Caesar in the buff. Moving on. Good story. But at 332, this was our demise. From 332 to 30 BCE, we caught hell. like we're going to get for the next 4 years under this clown. Perfect example. I like the analogy. Why? It'll prove itself out. I ain't a soothsayer. I don't tell fortune. I ain't got time for that. But I can see what is. I can observe and tell you what's going to happen. Simple. What's this? 332 BCE, Alexander of Macedonia, okay, defeats who? The Persian army, and now he conquers Kemet. Everybody wanted Kemet. 323, the Ptolemy, number one, Ptolemy, the first Ptolemy of the Ptolemaic dynasty of Egypt. This was in 323 BCE. So from that point on, ain't no Egyptian running Egypt. From the throne, from government to anything. We had just lost our way. And that's what put us in obscurity as a people. Watch. From 323 to Ptolemy 1, 285, Ptolemy 2 commissions Manetho to write his history of what? Egypt. That's where that comes from. Hereby now establishing what? The only surviving records of dynastic rulers. Why? Numbnuts burnt the damn library, okay? So all the information we got is from them. Moving on. At 69 to 30 BCE, Cleopatra the Seventh, born and rules Egypt until her death. But she wasn't Egyptian either. Understand, I just told you before we get to that, I'll let you know that she wasn't Egyptian. She's a Ptolemy. She's a white girl. Now let's go over here. If you notice, from the time we did Taharka, which is Christian concepts right here, okay, from that point on, which is 690 BCE, it's been white in Egypt. Alexander, Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte. And these last three clowns here, the Islamic rule, I'm going to just cut them out. Why? Because you see how we made the light-skinned people? Nobody dark skin, no dark face, okay? No black face, no burnt face. It stops right here. Everybody else is light skinned or white. So no Egypt rulers from the time 323 BCE until this day. Ain't no Egyptian doing nothing in the form of running everything to say about their country of Egypt. Now they get to the Roman period. This is about to wrap it up. I'm going to close it out. Roman period. 30 BCE to 323 ACE. Augustus Caesar claims Egypt as what? Province of Rome. If they're trying to lock their hair, they trying to be pharaohs, look like us, just like us, why is the script of flip? Well, we trying to be like them. In BCE, the generated elements of what? The ancient Kemetic religion was going down the tubes. Now it's all polarized in Rome. They took all the concept, even when they got it wrong, they still saying that Christ was born again and went to the flesh, went to heaven in the flesh. They're going to stick with that, so I'm moving on again. Let's talk about the Byzantine period. Now it's about this is the Christians. This is when y'all took over. Christians. Constantine from 323 BCE to 642 ACE, Constantine became the first Christian emperor of Rome. And he convenes the first Nicene Council in Nicaea, Turkey, in 325, and he declares Christianity the official state religion in 333. Okay, according to them. Christians, the Emperor Theodosius bans what? The ancient religious system of Egypt in 391 and orders the closing of all Egyptian temples. 394. Last recorded date of an Egyptian hieroglyph inscription was put on the wall, and that was the last time in 394. And 527, your Christian emperor Justinian finally succeeds in what? Closing the last Egyptian temple in Philae. I said 600, they say 527. But at that time, know who took over in Egypt? We then went through the Greek period. We went through the Roman period. We just went through the Byzantine period, with the cause of Christianity, which was still the Romans, the Islamic period, and I'm insulted because at 651 ACE until present, this is who was in charge of Egypt. Conquest of Egypt by Arabs and the introduction of Islam. Okay, in 1250, the Mamelukes, former the Turkish Circassians, slaves, conquered Egypt a long time ago. Turkey, they've been around a while. Okay, down in 1517, Egypt conquered the Turks and the Ottoman Empire, going back and forth. Okay, in 1798, the Egyptians conquered what? By Napoleon in France, from France. In 1881, the British and the Ottoman troops seized control. Everybody keeps just taking pot shots at Egypt. In 1952, we done went from 4,000 BCE all the way down and ran back up. Now we're going to 2000 on the other side. What's going on? Egyptian officials forced, they called King Farouk, to give up what? The throne. And in 1953, you got General Muhammad Naguib became the first Nubian. Watch this. In 1953, from 3033 to 1953, was the first, the first Nubian to rule Egypt since 343 BCE. Muhammad Naguib overthrown by who? Now the General Kamal. Now it's going back and forth. Abdul Nasser, who forms what? You ready? The United Arab Republic in 1958. He then teamed up with them guys. And in 1970, watch this, Anwar el-Sadat, remember him? Becomes president after the death of Nasser, who what? They did, took him out and put him in. That's how they operate now, okay? And Hosni Mubarak became president after what? The assassination of Anwar Sadat. So whatever the favor is, that's who's going to be who they want to run the country. That's how they do it now. They done change things where they control it. They ain't got to be there to control the land. I'm going to end the lesson on that. I'm going to come back with the summary, break it down for you. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I know it went a little long, but I just enjoyed giving that information. I hope it's doing somebody some good. I appreciate you tuning in. And in closing, right thinkers, may y'all let it be 100. Me, 100 months a day. So I never know that my people have passed away. Get knowledge of self.